Yeah, buddy. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Childish back at it again with episode 13 of Educate and Dominate, that one-on-one interview series where we take some of the best names of the game and get their insight on it so that we can take your game to the next level. My next guest is one of the top dogs in the arena and one of the best that the famous guild of Aftermath has to offer. Goon978, you've seen him on the boards, but let's go ahead and introduce him. What's going on, my man?
Hey, Childish, what's good?
What's good is that you're here and it's time to go. It's time to go. So, again, guys, if you all aren't familiar, Aftermath is one of the top guilds in the game. They've been doing really good for quite some time. Goon, he bounces around in the Guardian 2, Guardian 3 ranks if he feels like it, right? It just kind of depends on what he wants to roll. So, but if you haven't seen him on the top 100, we're going to go ahead and get that information out to you. However, a lot of you guys have seen the name but don't know the person. So, Goon, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into games, and then how you worked your way into Summoner's War.
What's going on? I've been playing like everybody else for a long time since I was a teenager. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, the whole deal.
Good shit.
The big one, though, was Ultima Online. That changed everything.
Nice.
Ultima Online rocked my world. I had to stay away from MMOs for like a good 3 years after after that disaster. Did what everyone else did, sold my castles, made that money. So if you did the math, I made about like a penny an hour. After UO, I just did console games like Final Fantasies, that type of deal. Tried to salvage my life, career until Warcraft came out, and then it was just, that was game over.
Yeah. World of Warcraft or just regular Warcraft?
Oh, I'm sorry, World of Warcraft.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we were in the arena, then eventually two-man arenas. I think I played that game for a little bit over 2 years. Again, after Warcraft, I took a break just playing console games, different iOS games, until I stumbled onto Summoner's War last year. And I just got to say, thank God for auto fights.
Oh my God, dude! If they didn't have auto fights, I would have been on so long ago. Like, hey, come to us if you're listening. God bless you, my man.
God bless you for that.
You're the reason why I don't have to run to the restroom every 2 seconds to get my energy knocked out a little bit. I could just run it auto, whatever. Yeah. I think my boss is getting kind of worried because I'm sitting there taking too many bathroom breaks. But oh my God. Right. So moving into the game, how'd you find the Guild of Aftermath? How did that all get started, and how'd you get on board with them?
I didn't realize how big the social aspect of this game was.
For sure.
Those are all, actually, you're looking right now at the Fedora, those are all just pretend runes.
Don't worry about it.
I don't want anyone...
They're gonna love you. No, they're gonna love you either way. There's a lot of it's kind of hard to have the best runes on all 82 of your 6 stars or however many you got. But it's all good. They love to see what you got. So don't sweat it.
Like Kaz, for example, if you click on him, I don't want anyone thinking for a minute I use him.
Oh, dude, hey, y'all watching right now. This is the real deal. Defense, hit point, defense. Yeah. Don't even ruin up your runes. Don't even ruin up the runes. If you can't make it a +9, it's no good. It has to be +1.
I'm telling you, man. I didn't even think about that.
That's awesome.
A couple of these guys, I was just waiting for rune remove day so I could remove some of these runes and sell them, and then you forget.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Remind me. Aftermath.
Aftermath.
So I stayed away from the social aspect of the game because every time I got into a channel, it was just trolls. I mean, it would have one after the other. Got to a point where, I was requesting if you could turn chat off, if that was even an option. Until I found Reddit, and Reddit led me to 8088, where I saw an ad after Guild Wars came out that Aftermath was recruiting, and messaged Pug West, and he was kind enough to look over my box and talk to me for a bit and decided I'd be a good fit, and I've been with them since.
Good deal. So moving on, what do you? We got a lot of people that are seeing some of the people in the top ranks, and they all have, themselves. I mean, it's quite it out, and as I'm scrolling here too, they have such a wide variety of units. But a lot of them get the opportunity to try some, and some are success stories, some are fail stories. But it seems like from what we talked about previously that you have quite the strategy when it comes to your style for arena offense, arena defense, and Guild Wars. So do you think you can get into that a little bit and kind of talk about some of the units that you use that just kind of make or break your fights?
What I personally do for arena offense is I run. I'm one of the generics. I run a double Lucian comp. I'll go Violent Chloe, 2 Lucians, and Seek, and that takes me through Conquer, through G1, through I'd say 75% of G2 and about 40% of G3. And my other standard team, when I have to switch it up, I'll go Vanessa lead, Perna's my main nuker, and Bella is the other one. And then the 4th slot is whatever I need to change it up as. If there's water too, you need some wind attacker, or another healer like Jasoon. Wind attacker, I'd use Ritesh. The wind beast monk, or I'd use a wind monkey king. I'm not gonna pretend like I can pronounce his name.
Yeah, Ritesh. I don't know how to pronounce it. We're probably failing together. It's all good.
So yeah, don't. My pronunciations are probably all wrong, but what can you do? And really, the only, and I hate to say this, but the only AD I've really had to think about and really play around has been obviously Barians. And at this point, I still can't beat him consistent. There's a little bit of RNG involved with those fights.
Yeah, and let me ask you something, because I know that there's a lot of misconception, maybe not misconception, just misunderstanding. When it comes to the top ranks, it seems like when you're moving on and into the G2, G3 range, you're seeing a lot of familiar faces. So, generally, do you find that a lot of people, they're consistently farming you if they can beat you, or do you find a lot of people that stray away from your setup if they can't beat you? Because to me, it's like I would, if I can beat them right, then I'll keep on farming them as much as I can. But then there's some people that will try one time. Or try 2 times and it'll be done because they don't want to continuously lower their rank and whatnot. They want to stay in the high ranks.
Yeah, that's what I see.
Yeah,
that's exactly what the second scenario. If I'm fortunate where I win that one, you don't see the people in G3. You won't see them again. And just as a side note for advice for everyone, don't do that. Nobody remembers what happens, and no one really cares. So if you lose, and you lose by the skin of your teeth, or you really feel like you can beat this guy, blast him. Hit him 3, 4, 5 times in a row until you can figure out, two things. Only good things can happen. 2 things can happen. Number 1, you'll realize, okay, I really can't beat him.
Right.
Or number 2, you'll figure out what his trick to his defense is. Because one aspect of this game I really like is, Barian's name because it's very rare for anyone to be able to do what he's done, and that's great because somebody can't just stonewall behind their defense and then you're just screwed, and then they go take a vacation and come back and rack up all these points or blah 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 blah. So it's really an attack-oriented game. So if somebody's successful against your attack, that means there's a weakness either in your thinking, meaning you picked the wrong mon for that fight, or maybe they're using a skill or some mon that you didn't realize. It can do that, and then you just go level it up yourself.
Right, and. What was I going to say? So, one of the things that some of the other, some of the other guests have kind of pointed out that, once, you can kind of see the trend on your arena or your arena defense that, you're getting quite a few successes when you make some changes to your team or whatnot. But then after a while, people try out your team and then you notice that they're kind of picking up on your trend and how you're setting up your stuff, and they figure out a way to knock you down. Do you play around with different arena defenses, or do you mix around runes a little bit to kind of switch it up? Because it seems like the people on the top there, they they have the ability to check your units, so they're really on point with how much speed you have and your sequencing of units. So, well, what do you do about kind of countering those people that are really looking at your stuff and trying to beat your stuff?
Sad to say, I've become disenfranchised a little bit with an arena. Not because of everything that happened last week, but with being able to get as high as I can, just using one team that you don't really use your brain for. You just kind of come in, blast, and run away. So I haven't done much in the last month and a half or so. But before that, and other people have complimented me about this, my arena, my AD was changing completely. The problem with certain mons like Vanessa, it would always be her because I can't really find.
Right, her kit's too sick. Yeah, her kit's too sick.
It's too sick, man. That 33% speed. What do you do with that?
Right.
But that's how I figured out my current AD, like with Draco, for example, or Draco, however you pronounce it. I don't know. Just by screwing around. I was happy with 3 out of the 4. Decently happy with 3 out of the 4. I knew they performed, and then that 4th slot, I was torn between, hey, do I do Varamos, or do I do like a Delphoy or a Violent Chloe, or what do I do? And Draco just looked interesting, so I threw him in there for a day. And when I came back, I looked at my list, and all of a sudden, it was success over and over again.
And you want to do a quick? No, I was going to say you want to do a quick reminder again of that AD that you're talking about, so people can kind of get it in their heads, since we talked about it a few minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, I do a Vanessa lead. Second position is Ritesh, Wind Beast Monk. Mm-hmm. Third is Perna. Fourth is Draco.
Good deal. So the combination of the AoE, 2 AoE defense break just makes Perna go ham, I guess.
Yeah, technically it's 3 AoE defense. Vanessa does it. Draco does the. I'm not AoE. I'm sorry. 3
defense breakers. Right.
Yeah, right. You said AoE. My apologies. Yeah.
You're good. Yeah. No, it's a good combination. I kind of wish I did have a Draco, but I haven't been lucky enough. I had the Corona, but it doesn't have the AoE defense break. So.
One thing I'm glad you brought that up. I just realized it's not just me and you talking. If you go Draco, if you click on my skills, you can see. That's irrelevant. Skill number 3, you need that. And if you're like me, that's going to be the last one that you're going to upgrade them with other brownies or whatever, and that's going to be the last one you get. But that's the only important one.
Right.
So I don't recommend using him unless skill 3 is maxed, preferably skill 2 and skill 3. If you don't ever have any points in skill 1, that's great. I wouldn't waste. I'd move on because all the brownies are good.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's it. Because I've had people make a Draco after talking to me, and then ask me what I do differently because theirs isn't performing, and it hits me then, and then I feel bad. Like, oh well, you need skill 3. Otherwise, it's just too slow. It doesn't work out. And the other thing I did with this guy is a lot of people go Violent X, whatever the 2 set is, and they try to max out his accuracy. Mm-hmm. I went Despair because of his first skill, he's going to get multiple skills, 30% chance, and he becomes like a stun machine. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's broken or mechanics or whatever. But
no broken here. Keep going with the Comtos. Keep going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
Not broken. Not broken.
I mean, yeah. He stinks. He never stuns.
Sucks. Don't even use this guy, guys.
Sucks. Yeah. And the other thing about accuracy, and I'm not going to pretend I know all the numbers or I'm some sort of math god that can calculate it because I've met, a couple of them in game and they're way beyond me with their numbers. But with Varamos around and all the ways that you can cleanse, et cetera, there's really no point in going for that max ac. Because, no matter what, even with 22 accuracy, I'm going to be defense breaking somebody. And that's the guy Perna's going after.
All right, good. So what do you think about the Guild Wars aspect of the thing? You kind of showed me here a little bit about your arena offense and arena defense. With Guild Wars, it's a little bit different. 4v4, 3v3. So I'm kind of curious how you go about setting up your team.
Guild Wars is really hard to set up a proper defense. And there's things I don't like about it, and there's things I absolutely love about it. PvP is my favorite aspect of the game. Just starting with my team 2, round 2, that guy that's a stable team. I win most of the time with that. Is it beatable? Absolutely, of course. But unfortunately, I can't seem to find a Magic Team 1.
Right.
And what you're seeing right there is, I hate to ADD a bit, but if anyone gets a water pirate, you just don't need to ask in chat. Just creep someone else, in the top 100 on Asia, Korea, or on global, and see how they built theirs and come up with your own magic. But you need to keep that mon. I mean, he is so OP for Guild Wars. It's ridiculous, and he's very. I'm starting to use him a little bit in my arena offense. I wouldn't suggest using him in arena defense, but I went a little bit off kilter with him, and made him a little bit more tanky. A lot of people, like a Cold Steel, will go speed, crit damage, attack, and I went more hit point based just because. Now, Cold Steel's got much better speed runes than me, so
Sure.
I can't go at on his level. But
now let me ask you.
Ridiculous.
Let me ask you this. No, you're good. Let me ask you this. If you kind of went the speed hit point. I know we're gonna get. We're going to move into a segment where we're trying to talk about some of the tips that you have for new guys. When it comes to this unit, there's a lot of people out there that might have the opportunity to get it, but they don't have the runes you got. What do you recommend for, like maybe a beginner to intermediate set for this, and what you want to put on that 246?
So, if you don't have the runes like I do, that means the level that you're competing at, you'll have the runes for that level. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, everything is to scale.
Sure.
With that setup, I would 100% go the hit point route. And he needs to be a little speedy. Excuse me. But he's not, don't think of him as a DPS. You think of him as a support. And he's more like an off tank. He does solid damage, but his kit is just ridiculous. Even with less runes, you can mimic what I've done here. Maybe have a little bit of less hit points, a little bit of less attack, and a little bit of less speed, but you'll be proportional. So if you're fighting like Conquer type, C2, C3 battles, or even G1 type battles, a little bit of less hit points, a little bit of less speed, it's not going to hurt you at all. Gotcha. The only time I think runes would really hurt is when you try to make him the attack. And you don't have quite enough crit rate, that 80-85%, without a buffer, obviously, to maximize that crit damage rune. Then he just, he doesn't perform, and he's just going to get killed. He's going to get one shot down. But if you're going support hit point, you don't need to worry about it.
Right, and it seems like his base hit points is actually relatively pretty good, for a 4-star. I mean, not the greatest, but not the worst. So, I mean, you're definitely going to get more bang out of your buck if you are going the hit point round for sure.
He's ridiculous, and it was hilarious watching. I don't mean to advertise or talk about anyone else's videos, but that new YD, not the new. I'm never. You guys are so clever and so able to put out these awesome videos so quick that sometimes I can't even keep up. But one of his last 3-4 videos, he was showing his arena offense, and he came up in Guild Wars against a 40,000 plus hit point. Galleon. And he was surprised. He ended up losing that fight, I think, just because he tried to one-shot him like everybody does. The guy didn't die. He got healed back up and ended up winning the fight.
Nice.
So I think the key to this is what I just stumbled onto, and other people have said this in your video. So, sorry for repeating.
You're good.
But it's awesome to have a meta, because there are lazy people out there, and there are people that play this game for the strategy. They just don't want a button on their shirt saying, "Oh, I'm the best," and they want to rest on the laurels for forever. But the people out there that are really theory crafting, they'll take an old mon or a mon that has been used one way and tweak it a little bit, and bam, change the whole game.
Right.
And I'm not saying I did that. I'm not saying Galleon is one of those great great changes, but if you're expecting a squishy, hard-hitting mon and he's got 40,000 hit points, well, you've just lost, whatever your cooldown was for that nuke, and you've lost, 1 to 2 turns flat.
What do we got going on when it comes to your thought process? Well, actually, let me take that back. We were talking a little bit before the video, and I thought you had some pretty interesting tips. It seems like you know your way around this game, and I would love to hear some tips that maybe you have for the newer guys, since we got a lot of people on board that are at the top ranks. A lot of us sometimes get that inside out, but it's kind of more geared towards the intermediate and advanced. Is there a couple of tips that you can kind of provide for some of the beginners and intermediates coming up, you think?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. So, first and foremost, this is a social game. While you're leveling up, you might think that, oh, level 40, got to get to level 40, then I'm going to be, the king, blah, 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 blah. Don't worry about that. The things that you're doing at your level, you're going to be doing them at level 40. It's a lot of fun, but what's going to keep you in the game is the people that you talk to. People like you, Childish, or you have discussions. You theory craft, and it gets you excited. You come back and you get to rediscover monsters and blah 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 blah. Other games have died just because content gets stale. But
Right.
when you're dealing with people, it can never get stale because everyone's crazy. So
Yeah, we got some crazy people in the public channels. I ain't gonna lie, man.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Trolls, they're so good. But you know what? A lot of that is junk, but a lot of those trolls are pretty clever. You just sit there like laughing, like, wow, yeah,
Right.
that was a good thing. But so the reason I brought this up is join a guild ASAP. It may seem hard, so don't stick to one channel. You can use that channel button. There's a ton of channels. Just keep hopping channels until you find some people that'll say, okay, you're level 20, level 30 guy. You're not all fives. You didn't spend $600,000 in this game, to get 4
Right.
Zyrazes.
Right.
But get in a guild, participate in guild wars. You don't have to burn all your swords, but do something, because those angel mons that you get for 150 points, those are free upgrades. It is so hard to level up 4 primes, to get your 5, and to be able to get 6-star monsters early on, especially if you're free to play. But if you do Guild Wars, that's a free level up, and by the time you're going to use those, if you start collecting them now, as early as possible, by the time you're ready to have a full line of 6-star mons, you'll already have your fodder preset, just sitting in storage waiting for you to go. So social aspect, join a guild, and just participate. And even if you lose, who cares?
Right.
Big deal. And you're going to learn a lot about the game. And Guild Wars, it's fun. It's cool.
Exactly.
So the second thing is creep everyone. What I would recommend is once you hit conquer level, you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste money, especially. Free to play time and efficiency is even more important for y'all. Make a dummy character. If you know how to switch servers, you just click on your portrait and you can say change server, and it'll give you some scary message that makes it seem like, oh God, you're going to delete my global account or my Asian account or whatever. It's not going to.
Right.
Whatever server you go to, you're going to have to redo the intro. So make a dummy account on Korea, Asian, however many that you can stand to go through the intro again. And now you can creep their top 100 and see how they're building their mons versus your home server, how those guys are building their mons. And, until you get real stable, until you're like a stable late G1, early G2, you just copy what everyone does. Just copy them until you have a successful, moderately successful defense and a solid arena offense, and then you can start experimenting because you don't, you got something in set. You got a base to stand on.
Yep, I'm a big believer in that particular tip, guys, because it's huge. Once I had it to get it done when they made the switch, where they split up the servers and going to Asia server, because a lot of the people that I followed on the global server and are now on Asia server. So, hey, don't make fun of my name, Buishi. That was like the fifth name that I tried to get on here. Everybody took my name, Buishi. But yeah, once you move over to the Asia server, like he said, you can just hit the top ranks, hit the rankings here, top 100, and then you can go ahead and check out, everybody you want to check out. All the top dogs are there from Zypher. There's quite a few guilds out there, obviously. Delicious, to name a few. But yeah, it's really easy, and it's another top 100 group that you can check out. Take a look at their tunes and see how they go about setting up their runes and their units. So pretty darn cool. And then of course when you're done, you just switch back to global, and boom, there we go. Got him.
Yeah, that was a scary message. Logging in, it won't transfer characters or won't save or something like that. Just ignore that. That scared the shit out of me. So I I was only using my iPad on a separate account just because of that.
Yep.
So nothing to worry about.
And did you have anything else to add with regards to the tips?
Oh yeah, man. You're gonna have to shut me up. I got 101. Arena. Don't worry about it until you have mostly 6-star mons at the very least. Forget runes, but at least your monsters have to be 4 out of 4 6-star. Just don't worry about it. You're gonna lose. Who cares? Just move on. And participate. Even if you don't think you need it, get that Devilmon. And you just keep refreshing. Forget the buffs. Oh, I won 4 in a row. I don't want to get rid of this buff, but I'm not sure if I can beat the rest of these guys. Screw the buffs. You just keep going until you find that group of people, that are trying to descend, and they only have 1 mon on their defense. Kill him. So 180 points, very minimum. Weekly Devilmon. Don't waste them. Throw it in storage. If you don't have someone to use it on, just don't throw it on some BS guy that, when you search a Reddit or you talk to other guildies or people in chat and they say, oh, that's a crap monster, but you really feel like this is a great monster, don't put a devil into him. Devil is the most precious resource in the entire game, as far as I'm concerned. And if you're burning all your wings all the time, and you get more than 180 per week, buy buildings. Do not buy any scrolls. Sorry. I know a lot of people buy fire scrolls and all that other stuff, but you can get them through giveaways. You can get them in, like the one we've got currently going with the gift boxes. I got a fire scroll and a handful of mystical scrolls so far. But those buildings are what took me to the next level. And the first one I would say start off with is speed and just max it, or get as close to maxing it as you can. It'll take you to the next level. My C3/G1 to stable G2 transition happened after I maxed speed, and I got a good way through the HP totem. So I would say speed and hit points are the 2 big dogs on that. Next thing, don't listen to what anyone has to say that, oh, you need to be doing this or you need to be doing that. Me especially, make sure you confirm what I'm saying. But nice. A lot of people see those losses in Arena and they say, I need a pro AD, I need a pro defense, and I need to win. This game is set up so that you can't have a pro defense. There's always going to be some bigger fish that's going to be able to gobble you up, even in G3. So ignore it. Ignore it until you are, progressed. And the most important thing you can do is get a giant rune farming team, because there are G3 guys where 3 out of their 4 mons are 3 stars or 4 stars that you can obtain. So it's not like you need only Nat 5s or you only need Zyros to win, So what's the difference? How do they make their 3-star work and yours isn't working? It's the runes that they farm. So the earlier you get a giant rune farming team, the further you're going to go quicker. And then transition to dragons. And once you get to dragon farming, and you can get, early on, back in November, my farming team was like 7 or 8 minutes, right? It was, I'd say like 95%. 7 to 8 minute run. My phone would be on fire, blah, blah, blah. Well, now, fast forward, now I'm down to, 2-minute runs, which is great. So as you get those runes, your farming speed will improve, and then you'll automatically see you gaining rank in arena. And now, again, I'm ADDing out. I'm gonna transition to another important thing. So, like, SW is about the long game. It doesn't matter if you just started playing or you've been playing a year. Mainly, those guys. Very few of the guys that have been playing that long. Maybe some of them get burnt out and quit and blah 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 blah. So don't think, oh, I'm just starting today. You guys have some insane advantage. I mean, yeah, we do have an advantage, but it's not as big as you'd think. So money is a very precious commodity, dollars, if you're pay to win type person, right?
Right.
If you farm dragons, you will have enough mana to upgrade your runes. Maybe you won't have enough mana to upgrade your runes all at once, right? But you'll be able to space it out. So those dragon runs will give you enough money in game to upgrade your runes, to buy whatever you have to buy. Giants, I can't make that work. I feel like I almost lose money fighting giants over time.
Giants is pretty rough.
Upgrading those. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, and don't get frustrated by giants. I mean, for me, you farm giants until you have enough rage runes or whatever you're looking for, swift, and then bail. Get to dragons as soon as you can. But don't waste your real life dollars on buying mana from Comp to Us if you can help it. And how do you help it? Don't try to upgrade all your runes to plus 15. Plus 12 is good enough. And farm dragons to make that money. And I could keep going and going.
You're good. So yeah, keep it rocking, baby. Run with it.
So another video I watched, this guy had it very simple. First, rune farming team. That's something that everybody knows. The top guys, they all know it. First, you get your rune farming team. After that, you want to start. You got a big block of ice. A rune farming team, you've just taken off the big chunks. Now you're looking for the details, and the details are you need a team. Sorry, you need a mon that'll give you immunity. Whether you're fortunate enough to get a Chloe or a Delphoy or Draco, you got to upgrade him. So, but even him, he'll give you immunity. If that's all you have, then you use him. Kona, for example, is an easy mon to get, and that's one that you can upgrade. I use Kona still at this level. Sometimes at Guild Wars, sometimes even in Arena. But immunity. You got her up. Just hit info really quick. I want to make sure. Yeah, perfect. I got her up as high as 36,000, or him, whatever it is. 36,000 HP. For him, I think it's speed and hit points. People can talk all day about accuracy and this and this and that, but your goal is not to put your best runes on a Kona. You just don't want him to die. And if you get up, I'd say at least 32,000 HP with 50 to 60, plus 50 to 60 speed, you're doing good with your Kona. And obviously max skill, but that's not that hard with Kona.
Right, 2-star units are pretty easy. So
yeah, they're real nice. But that's an example of a free-to-play mon. I mean, nobody's talking down to you that, you don't pay money or play free, whatever. I mean, it's one of those things where you get this for free, you still use it. One of my primaries is Bella. That's another one you should try to get immediately. So anyways, going back to it, rune farming team first, second immunity, and third would be start with your fusion monsters. Just because they're not Nat 5s or whatever, or they've been around for a long time, those fusion monsters are sick. Veramos, of course. I mean, he changed the entire game. The whole game is different after this guy, right? And I stopped feeding devils to my beast monk so I could finish Veramos, if that tells you any idea of how good he is. I stopped everything I was doing and made him. Don't copy my Veramos. It's Swift right now.
I love it. All right, everybody, this is my Veramos. Don't copy it.
Don't copy it, man. Those Nemesis runes are going to stay. But, with the announcement of with the changes, I'm not freaking out. I still think he's amazing, and I still recommend everybody to fuse him. But I just wanted to see what it would be like to, you know, give him some nitrous oxide, put a little boost on him with those Swift runes.
Yeah.
I'll be switching them back on Rune Remove Day.
and you know what's a good thing to point out too, especially for being tips for the new guys. When you first start out, obviously, people all you hear in the channels and the forums stuff like that is violent is end game. But you're not in game, so you got to consider, what you should use for the now versus the future. So Swift is obviously that subset that's going to be easy for you to get, and going to add so much more speed to this unit and make him, do what he's supposed to do, which is remove those effects and, keep your guys pretty clean as far as the hostile effects go. So I like it.
I couldn't agree more. Actually, Childish, can you click on my Verde?
Let's see where he is. Scrolling. There we go.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, next
Sexy.
to the hero, Jin. So look, there's an example, right? You don't need to listen to people. You don't need to, everything has to be perfect. And, a lot of the mons that you saw, yeah, I've got a 4-cent and a 2-cent. But, well, I mean, I farm all day, so I've got a huge rune inventory. But, in the beginning, I didn't. And for this guy, here's an example. This is a completely piecemeal guy. The one thing I have is revenge. And at one point, the thought was to go all revenge, but I don't think I'm going to waste that on him. So I wanted him to be fast, and now I've got pieces. Eventually, I went back and I switched some stuff around so I could get 2 energy just to get a little bit of hit points, so he wouldn't get squished,
right?
Insanely quick. But that's my prototype that you don't need perfect sets and perfect harmony and blah blah blah. So don't sell your vampire runes or your shield runes just because someone tells you, oh, shield sucks or vampire sucks or blah blah blah. And you don't need all 6 runes, 6 prime runes.
Those substats, though, right there. This is why you don't sell random vampire runes right there when you look at that 15 speed and whatnot. Good stuff.
Yeah, and that 17 defense.
Yeah.
So
the 17 defense is actually the better stat, guys. Flat stats for the win, okay?
Yeah, that's gonna be my that's gonna be what I'm known for.
There it is.
No percentages, flat stats. That's the way to go.
It's the way to go.
Flat everything. What's another guy that I use that's all broken up? You know what? I can't remember right now. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Verde's the good one. And there's a lot of excess crap here. You don't need a box like this to be successful. I didn't even, I hit Guardian with, less than 8 mons. And the only reason I'm doing this is, number one, I get bored, and number two, for things like TOA hard, I experiment. Like Lucia, for example, you can see right there the light warbear next to Aquila, and oops,
fail.
Whatever.
Whatever.
What can you do?
It's just fodder for the next 7-star whenever it is.
Yeah. That's funny. That's so funny that you said that, because that's exactly my rationalization. Right.
Give them a decade or two. They'll get there with the 7-star units.
Yeah, exactly. As you can see with Lucia here, I've gone with the 2 rune strategy because that's OP. He actually doesn't need all 6 rune slots.
Exactly.
He just needs those 2.
Boom, got him. Yeah. And so, speaking of runes, how about this? We've had a couple conversations on the various other interviews and whatnot with regards to the most underrated and over rune. Do you have one that's different from the others, or do you kind of feel the same way when it comes to people pointing out the value of like the nemesis and the revenge rune, and especially revenge rune utilizing on somebody that has a really nice hostile effect on the or debuff on the first attack?
Yeah, oh yeah. You won't see it in any of my mons right now, but because revenge runes are harder to get. But you did see kind of on Verde with the 3 revenge. I was trying to go that way, but I couldn't make it happen. Not with that speed, without hurting too many other people, too many other mons. But revenge and nemesis are ridiculous. if the first skill does anything, Verde, for example, Galleon is another one. The Sea Emperor, Fire Sea Emperor, actually all the Sea Emperors. Um, Obviously, Hua. I can't even. I'm having a brain fart here, but you know, if there's a Bella, Darien, if they can do anything with their first skill, revenge should be in your mind. That
Gotcha.
okay for the two set. If I put revenge, it's not going to hurt them, and then you can think, do I do all revenge? You know, that's another option because at 15% chance per set with 3 sets, it's almost half the time they hit you, you're going to hit them back.
Right.
Monkey King, so that was the other big one because when they hit, they stun, and you win.
When you stun, you win. Sounds like a movie intro.
It,
when you
like,
stun, you win.
Don't follow my runes on this guy either.
You're awesome, dude. Just don't follow anything right now. It's cool.
No. There's a bunch you could follow. You know, I like what I did with Perna. I really like what I did with Vanessa. I like what I've done so far with Sea Emperor. But the last thing I want to do is, it costs money to rune and re-rune, and here I am going on and on about this and that, and maybe it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, or maybe I'm just an asshole, whatever. But the last thing I want to do is make make other people listening, because I've done this in the past and gotten bitten. But to follow something I'm doing verbatim and have it just be a temporary thing. Right. So up to this point, for revenge on him, obviously, I mean, that's a no-brainer. But up to this point, I've gotten despair, and I think after today, I don't remember who it was, I got owned by a fire Monkey King that was violent. I mean, it was round 1. And his round was. So round 2, my guys win, then it was his turn. And his Monkey King just hit, who was it? My Sea Emperor 3 times in a row. It was just bam, bam, just killed him. What the hell does that have? There's no way to defend it. I mean, that guy hits so hard. And Fire MK hits harder and stronger than Wind. But Wind is still a beast in his own right. I use this guy very often. So the whole point is, don't copy this verbatim. Despair doesn't work, yeah, but I think Violent on this guy is much better.
Cool. Sounds good. But maybe if they're starting out with the room farming recommendations and going for the Giants first, then Despair would be a nice alternative if you don't have the Violent.
Which one?
That if they're, kind of going about your rune farming, talking about, going for the Giants and moving on to Dragons, if they get this unit early on, then Despair is okay to run with until they can get themselves. Yeah.
I mean, Win Monkey King, I got this guy maybe less than 2 weeks after they came out, right? And I've used him consistently. Actually, he was on my core AO and AD, for that matter, with Despair. And I've been upgrading his Despair runes as I go on, and I've loved it. It's been great. But after getting my ass handed to me, just because it was such a surprise, I mean, he just obliterated that one game. He just kept beating him with that stupid stick.
Cool. I know we were talking about it prior to in the earlier part of this episode that there's some stuff that it's something that people talk about, but not always everyone wants to get out, right? It's just some of those things out there that we need to get off our chest. So I know you got yourself a nice, 1 or 2 things that you wanted to kind of get off, talk about there, and address to the people that are listening. What are some of those things you want to get out?
Keeping it positive.
Right.
I used to be a staple in G3. Like, not to be cocky, but like I said, I'm fortunate. Maybe it'd be harder on other servers, whatever. I still think Global has got some excellent players in all of SW. But I'd always be top 10 at some point. And I dropped off in the last month after missing rank 1 because somebody maybe not so deserving slid ahead of me. And I'm not blaming anyone, pointing any fingers, whatever. This is a game mechanic, and it ended up being, I want to say hacker, but I don't think they hacked. It was a no-namer, and I lost paying in week 2 for no reason, ended up rank 2. So I got a little disenfranchised. It was amazing that everything blew up over the Light Tau incident last week, but There wasn't even a peep. People just kept telling me to shut up and stop complaining. Be
Right.
happy with rank 2. It's not even about losing that monster. It's more like of the respect that, oh yeah, there was one week that I hit rank 1. I did that. So I think that arena needs to be changed. A lot of people had a lot of good ideas. I think what happened this past week wasn't. You shouldn't be blaming the players, to be honest. That's frankly, there's a lot of hate out there, and that's not what this game is about.
Right.
This game is awesome. This game is a social game, and like my advice number one, like I said, was to get into a guild and start meeting people. And maybe you didn't start playing it to meet people, and maybe you think that's a bad idea, but you eventually you eventually come around, and I don't think we should be blaming players.
Cool.
And I would really, if someone from CompTOS is listening, I think that that should be agenda number one.
Right. And that's kind of funny because that was another topic that I was going to get into. If there was one thing to change for the better, for the worse, what would it be? Probably the arena then.
It's all arena for me is endgame.
Right.
Once you master TOA and the PvE content, a lot of it is repetitive. It's not bad. I'm not saying it in a bad way. I really like the way it's set up, especially with autoing. But arena, guild wars, that type of thing. Another thing I would like to change is the guild wars rewards. Now that I think about it, you'll notice that Aftermath is not even in the top 10 in global half the time now, and that's because we realize that the true reward of Guild Wars is not winning, not the stones, because sometimes some people can't burn their swords if they can't make it there in time. If you've got to end fights early and blah blah blah. But the true prize is the Angel Mons, the Ifrit scrolls. I guess I'm doing buildings, but there's the grand debate between scrolls and legendary fragments and buildings.
Right.
Whatever it is, the point is, as a guild, you're your team. If you want to do single solo play, that's what arena is for. So as the team, you want to get the best prizes for everybody, and that is giving everyone enough time through the week to burn all of their swords to be able to reap those rewards. And I think it's worked out very well for us as Aftermath because people rarely leave, and we've held the same core for a good amount of time. Proportionately, the game's only been around for X amount of months, but this week Aftermath had an insane, just unbelievable week. We got a guy that pulled a Perna. On the Asian side, there was a guy that pulled a Zyros and a Perna. Yeah. I pulled the Fire Emperor. There's a couple of, I can't remember right now, but there's a couple other Nat 5s that got pulled. And I feel like Pug West is who came up with this idea that who cares about top 10? And I think Pug's idea was excellent. He's a great theory crafter. A number of my mons I've made just because he told me, hey, I think this is going to be good, and I played around with him. It's worked for me. And this team idea that he's had, he's held it through and through, even when there's been criticism. And he's right, especially now, because now with every one of these mons that people pull, just because maybe they got some scrolls or maybe they got something from Guild Wars, it just makes us all that strong.
Right. I like it. Definitely. I know that we had a couple of hate within our guild, when we split up the group, because we had some people that were competitive and some people that just wanted to farm. But at the end of the day, it worked out for both parties. We had the 10v10 crew for the our alpha crew that are doing just fine in it, and it's we're having a blast. And then we got the people that are farming the points, and they're having fun too. We all still communicate. We're all still having a great time, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. So.
Oh, you split your guild, so you've got two pieces?
Right, we got two guilds. We got a competitive guild on the 10v10 side, and then we got the farming guild on the 20v20 side. So.
Oh man, how do you organize that?
It's crazy, but
that's a lot of work.
We make it work. We make it work. So I have a lot of people behind the curtains that help me out a lot. So I appreciate them. Good deal. So what do you? I was going to say, if we kind of showed a couple of them here. I think we're gonna have to to bounce into that epic fail, story here, because I attempted to try to scroll past the cowgirl ever so slightly, but I think they caught it at the beginning of the video. So let's talk about some epic fails. We already talked about the light warbear a little bit there, but let's go ahead and hit this up. Give me the story on this one.
All right, so the light warbear is not what I consider an epic fail relative to what you are on right now, because the light warbear could be used in dragons or dude, the gunman is just fuck. What do you say to that? That was me thinking that I was smarter than everybody, and yeah. Okay, those are not real runes, for example, for starters. She's obviously a despair holder, and not a very good despair holder. This is an example of what I forgot to unrune and sell during removal day. Dude, that double stun, that AoE double stun that she had before they fixed it, right? It sounded so epic. And you can see with skill 3, I already got another summon. So there's not just one gunman. There's 2 of them here with the with points points trying to buy a third. I will recommend to everybody to not buy a gunman. And if you buy a gunman, don't awaken them, because at least they're cute unawakened. I mean,
no, it's got to be real.
This is just disaster. Edge is just horrible. I just brought her out just to show you what, do not. That's one. You want me to keep going? I got so many epic fails.
Oh, well, let's get. Give me a couple more.
Second one is going to be the. As a side note, do you see Luna there? The dark. You can go back to that screen. That dark period, whatever. I can't pronounce it. Period. Don't believe the hype. I got very few lightnings from L&D scrolls, and I've bought a bunch of scrolls and whatever. I just don't get them. I don't have that luck, and that's cool. But I got Luna, and I hadn't even leveled her up. She was sitting there in the lake or something, just getting passive XP. Then all that Light Ninja drama came about, and everyone was, Delphoy, Light Ninja, Dark, whatever, Luna. Yeah, as you can see, she's a holder.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not that good. Like it's not that she's not that good. She's worthless. People are talking about minute and a half dragon runs or 2-minute dragon runs with her. I've used her on dragon with my core team, and she dies. She doesn't have enough hit points to do anything. And I don't want anyone feeling like they missed out or got screwed or whatever, because everyone's the quote unquote noobs are idiots and they went with Light Ninja. For the good of the game, yeah, maybe they should have gone for Delphoy for everybody, but this was definitely not a good choice. So that is on the list for epic fail. If you go 4 to the left, Light Minotaur, a lot of people are pulling him right now because of the monthly L&D scrolls. He is not good. Now, maybe early game, people are finding some use for him. Again, you can see with the skills and everything, I've put time into these guys. I got him pretty early on from an L&D scroll after Minotaurs were announced, and I rushed him. I burned Angel Mons and the whole deal to get him to 40. And 6-star, and that was a mistake. I mean, I put some of my best runes on this guy. He doesn't synergize. He just sucks.
Awesome.
It's just, please, you guys are getting him. Do you fodder him? I would say no. Anything that you can't get out of an SD, stick it in the storage. Spend 100,000 mana or whatever it is, or 20 gems or whatever, to expand your storage, and stick him in there until a rainy day. Maybe he becomes fusion food for all you know.
Cool.
I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. Could you just scroll? Yeah, no, I think those are the big dudes. Oh, for June owners, don't believe the hype. There's a Cold Steel versus the Dr. Lolymon video, and you can see Dr. Lolymon's AD, and Juno was sitting there prominent. Is Blue from... oh, by the way, I'm sorry. One thing I didn't explain about my guild is we're actually... I don't want to say my guild, but the guild that I'm in. because I didn't start it. I didn't help organize or do any of the hard work. These guys did, Pug West and Human Dynamo. So when the server split, we have an Aftermath Asia and Aftermath Global, and we share the same line chat. So I get recruited all the time. I'm saying I'll never leave Aftermath until they kick me, and I would have kicked me, after day one. But whatever. They're just good people, man. Everyone is chill. Everyone is competitive without being like a gunner, like crazy. And there's a lot of theory crafting that goes around, and it's cool because we get like a top ranked guild perspective from two of the major servers. So one of our top guild guys on the Asia side is Blue. He prominently uses Juno. I was talking smack about her. Oh, she sucks. I can't make her work. Yada yada. And he, flat out told me, you're wrong. I use her all the time. So I know when only and Nat fives come so rarely, and when you get a Juno, you're all down and disheartened about the game and whatever. But hey, people use her. They use her very effectively.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. I have my wife. She has a Juno herself, and that's one of the units that kind of saved the day for her in her Dragons run. She's only autoing B6 and B7 respectively, and sometimes she'll lose a couple of units early on, but Juno she can't be stopped because she keeps on getting those dot effects and able to remove them and heal them up. So she can't she just stays alive and keeps on going. So
see, that's awesome, and it's awesome she didn't get all down about it because she probably didn't listen to other people. Everyone is going to say something about something.
Is there anybody that you want to go ahead and give a shout out to? From your guild or from the channel, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Pug West, number one, accepted me to the guild. Has never told me no for anything. Hey, can I do this? Can I talk to the guild about that? Never. I mean, the guy is so open and so chill. And let's just say his management style is different than mine, which is probably why I don't have a successful guild. And he he does, right? And all right, so there's Pug, Aftermath in general, and they're just awesome dudes. Every single one of them, Ari, Rich A, I mean, Ezra, all these guys are just they're gangsters, man. Real stand-up guys. Then the Asia side, Human Dynamo, Mokies, East Blue, Tasha, all these guys, Koba. We just sit here and theory craft. You just it's like knowledge exchange. Hey, I experimented with this monster. You trust me because you know that I have no hidden agenda or whatever. Here's what I came up with. Well, that's awesome because now that's a mon that I don't need to 6-star and try out. And as you can see by how many epic fails I have, that's a big relief. Saves me a lot of time. And I wanted to shout out to and this is not gonna be so popular, but Rengar and Nova. I feel bad for what happened. There was a lot of hate that came there, but I mean this was a kind of a time bomb that has been sitting there for a while, and it just exploded on those guys. I just want to remind everyone out there that these guys are so pro community. When you're in that top 30 rank, not that I'm trying to be elitist or anything like that, but it's just like a different world. You have different goals, right? And they were just frustrated with the way things are going. And I just want to remind, especially on global, TOA hard. We have set teams now that everybody basically uses. Guys like Hemos and Thrain, for example, because Xkyvo and Rengar figured that out. Said, hey, this is effective. Here's how you synergize it. Oh, I've got screenshots of my level this and level that. And for the last 2 months, they just hand those out to everybody. They're not hiding anything. So, SW is about love. Yeah. everyone getting along, getting together, social game, whatever. We don't have to hate on individual players.
Right, for sure. All right. And how about the call-outs? If there was somebody that you would recommend from either the global or the Asia side to come on board and do an interview with us, who would it be and why?
Dude, I'm like number 13, Childish, man. Lucky number 13. You've hit most of them. So many of the greats. Hey, let me ask you: do you ever interview anyone from the Asian side, or is this mainly global?
No, we've done a couple people. We've done Trolling and YDCB on the Asia side. So,
Can I give you a
And
couple of names?
and Nick the Greek. We've done Nick the Greek as well. But yeah, go ahead.
Um, let's see here. Human Dynamo, and I can line you that name, the spelling, all that.
Okay, sounds good.
Is Blue, IZBLU. Mokies, Mokies. Oh, he has the craziest effing TOA hard teams. You know, you'll ask him advice, and we'll be sitting there ranting to each other. Oh, this effing board! It died 8 times. The counterattacks, all this. We'll just be going back and forth, and I'm like, well, he'll pass us. I said, well, give me a screenshot of the team he used. And no way. I mean, he's the one of the only successful Clara fire period, whatever users that I've seen in game, and some of the hardest TOA levels. There's
Wow.
Clara with her stupid hat, just sitting there, dominating. Hey, I didn't die.
Uh,
Um,
she actually, if I remember correctly, she has a pretty good like base hit points or whatnot. Not too bad.
yeah, I mean, see, you know that, Charlie. I didn't know that. I had no
Yeah.
idea. I thought she had gone the route of Julie, who evidently is, still decent.
No.
looking at all the Cold Steel videos. Um, yeah, but those three guys from Asia, very solid theory crafters, and they have a very, very good handle on the game.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely when we're done with this video, you can just go ahead and send it my way.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Awesome. Well, hey, I just want to thank you again for taking the opportunity to do it. I know we had a couple of days where we had to make our schedules work, but we got it, and I'm super excited to get this video out. So thank you again for coming on board. I really do appreciate your time.
Oh, don't be crazy, Childish. I really appreciate it, man. You got a nice thing going here. You're a hard worker, and I couldn't do it. Everything looks so damn professional.
I just make it seem like that. I'm the most unprofessional guy there is, but no, I appreciate the kind words. But yeah, guys, thank you all for tuning in for this episode of Educate and Dominate. It's your boy Childish and Goon with ChildishPlays checking out. Take care. We will see you next time. We're out.